I was like, what's different? My mouse is downstairs. I really need to not get comfortable, but I need to run back out. And then me is so lazy. But, and then,
If you go get my iPad, it's in the bedroom in the drawer. I use that instead of using the device.
what the heck going on now? Because I can DJ and do both. So let's go. That scared me.
Scared you too, huh?
It's okay, baby. That shit scared mama too, I know. It's okay. Go ahead and free yourself. Why she don't even like that shit? I said, why she don't even end up liking that shit? He might though, no
All
one.
them bubbles and shit gotta be good.
And fancy. Get off me. Get off me.
That's nice. Drink one ice. You'll get us a cup of ice.
You're gonna be much more difficult. Sure. Ice, iPad, mouse, anything else. Should I take that back downstairs or are you still living?
No, I'm not doing that. That's why I said it's ice and period.
Come on. So I can let you out because you're crying too. Let's go. God. Everybody needs something to do. Let's sit down.
Sound good?
Either way, we'll be listening to it. Okay.
You turn the Bluetooth off of it.
No reporter that I have seen has reported any. No, I don't know what conditions. Give an update on the search in about 50 minutes. And the FBI has scheduled a press conference with.
Nice.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV coming to you with breaking news. A body has reportedly been found in the area where authorities have been searching for Gabby Petito in Wyoming. And the FBI has scheduled a press conference. The body has not been identified yet. Hang on one second here. Yes. Oh, okay. So the body has not been identified yet, but a body has reportedly been found where authorities have been searching for Gabby Petito in Wyoming, and Fox News Digital is saying the coroner has arrived on the scene. So again, Fox News Digital confirms Teton County Coroner Brent Blue has arrived in the Bridger. Actually, let me go back a second. Body found where Gabby Petito search is underway in Wyoming. No confirmation of identity. Fox News Digital confirms Teton County Coroner Brent Blue has arrived in the Bridger Teton National Forest. A body has been found in the same area. Officials have been searching for Gabby Petito. Fox News Digital can also confirm about 10 minutes after the coroner arrived on the scene, search dogs participating in the search left the search area. And then about an hour ago, the mobile command center left the Brian Laundrie Florida search. So there's a whole search for Brian Laundrie going on. That is Gabby Petito's boyfriend. He is missing. But again, body found where Gabby Petito search is underway. And then also, I'm guessing this is related. In 51 minutes, the FBI is going to give an update. FBI Denver just posted this 7 minutes ago. FBI Denver National Park Service and our law enforcement partners will provide an update in the investigation into Gabby Petito's disappearance at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. That is in 51 minutes. So it looks to me like this. I would have to guess that this press conference or news conference or whatever this announcement is going to be from the FBI in 50 minutes is going to be related to the report of the body being found. So again, the body has not been identified according to Fox. I'm going to get you other reports on this, but this is certainly not good news. Again, body found, according to Fox, Fox News, body found in the area where the Gabby Petito search is, and the FBI is now saying that they're going to give an update on the search in about 50 minutes. Very, very concerning news. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on, look. Kelly Vaughn, who is with KUTV News, also says, I can confirm a body was found in the Grand Teton National Park. The coroner says they were called to recover a body. They could not confirm it was Gabby Petito. So this is a different source, Kelly Vaughn, who's with KUTV News, and she is saying she's hearing the same thing, that a body has been found in the area in Wyoming, in Grand Teton National Park, where authorities have been searching. So that's going on. And just something else to keep in mind, something else that's going on is a search is still going on for Gabby Petito's boyfriend. You can see this came out, this information I saw about an hour ago from Kristen Thorne. She's with WABC, and she posted, the Laundrie family attorney says Brian Laundrie's parents picked up their son's car from the reserve Thursday morning. He left Tuesday. The family searched for him Wednesday, called police Friday. So just taking a step back here in terms of what's going on. Let me just summarize what's going on here in case you haven't been following the story. But Gabby Petito is a 22-year-old, and she was on a road trip, going on like a cross-country road trip for a couple months over the summer with her, at least a couple months, with her boyfriend Brian Laundrie. They were in this white van here. She was last heard from in late August. It was believed she was in Grand Teton National Park, is the last known location of her. And her boyfriend showed up with the van back home in Florida on September 1st without Gabby. And the boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, has never spoken to law enforcement about what happened. He's refused to talk to law enforcement. His parents, who Gabby and Brian were living with, have also refused to talk to law enforcement until, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I can't remember the day. Maybe the day before yesterday, where Brian actually went missing. Yes, that was Friday. So she has been missing, and the boyfriend has been missing. Well, now we're hearing this big news that a body has been found in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, where authorities have been conducting the search for Gabby Petito. And the FBI, right after this news came out that the body's been found, both Fox is reporting it, KUTV is reporting it, right after that news came out, the FBI said that they're going to have a press conference, they're going to have some kind of new announcement, the FBI, an update at the top of the hour in 47 minutes. And then another thing that's going on is her boyfriend is missing. And the authorities have been, in Florida, authorities have been searching at this this wilderness area. It's something like a reserve, kind of a nature area for her boyfriend. And this report came out in the last hour from Kristen Thorne that the Laundrie family attorney says Laundrie's parents picked up their son's car from the reserve on Thursday morning. He left their house Tuesday, supposedly. The family searched for him on Wednesday, and then they called the police on Friday. So searching is also going on for the boyfriend in Florida. Again, multiple outlets are saying that there was a body found in Grand Teton National Park. The coroner says they were called to recover a body. And I did see a local report, I can't remember who, but one of the local stations had broadcast like helicopter footage of, it looked like some kind of tent was set up, and there was like an evidence team out there in the Wyoming search area. So I'm just looking here for more updates. But again, we're going to get an update at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to get an update from the FBI at the top of the hour in 45 minutes. And according to Fox News, according to both sources for the story about the body being found, it has not been identified yet. But it's not certainly good news that they have found a body in their search. Maybe it will turn out not to be Gabby. The hope is that they would find her alive. So, but we'll have to see what the FBI says, unless there's any reporting that comes out before that. So we are bringing you the latest updates here. If you have more information, give me a shout on Twitter at Lookner. I am just going to search for a bunch of different sources here and see what I can find for you. Hang on a second here. I'm just checking for some other sources here. Yeah. Hang on a second.
I was just trying to sign into my email.
I have not seen any more than what Fox is reporting, that a body has been found and the coroner was called. As far as I've heard, nothing has said that the body has been identified yet. Okay. Hang on a second here. Yeah, the FBI, Kelly Vaughn says the FBI will be updating us at 4 p.m. local time. So this is what we know right now. So again, I'm just getting you the latest information. If you're hearing more, give me a shout on Twitter, at Lookner on Twitter. I'm going to really quick see here if, I'd like to see if any of the local channels are covering this live. If you know of sometimes you hear something from the local channels. So let me just do a quick check here. I'm not seeing it at the moment. All right. So anyways, we'll have that announcement for you. Give me one more quick second here. We're going to have that announcement. We'll have the announcement for you from the FBI at the top of the hour. And it's possible that more news will come out before the top of the hour. Now, just to be clear, there's been no official announcement that a body has been found, right? We have Fox News and also KUTV News, which I believe is in Utah. They are both reporting that a body has been found. But we have no official announcement that a body has been found yet. I would guess that maybe that would come, assuming it's true, that would come at the top of the hour. You can see this is the story that KUTV has. KUTV is, let me just establish this for sure here. KUTV Wikipedia. KUTV is located in Salt Lake City, okay? Unidentified body found in the area Gabby Petito was last seen. An unidentified body has been found in Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming, where Gabby Petito was last seen. A coroner in the case confirmed the information, but they nor the FBI have released the identity. She was last, she was last seen in Grand Teton National Park. Okay, give me a shout. Let me know what you're hearing at Lookner on Twitter. Just trying to get you the latest information here. Okay, here, look. Okay. Morgan Wolf, who is with KSL, that's a different station, says, we can confirm a body was found in Grand Teton National Park. Our partners at CNN were not told the gender or if it was Gabby Petito. Here's what I can tell you that KSL saw while flying out of chopper. Okay? So this is a third outlet. This is a third outlet saying that a body has been found. 3 different outlets now reporting a body has been found. But I am still saying reportedly because this has not been officially confirmed by authorities. But we have 3 different outlets now. Fox and 2 Utah TV stations are all reporting a body has been found where the search for Gabby Petito was underway. Oh, also, Coyote Jam sent me this. Here's another outlet. Brian Enton is saying it too. The Teton County, Wyoming coroner just confirmed to be a body has been found in Teton National Park. He says they do not know the identity or the gender yet. Says it is in a very remote area. So, again, widely reported, being reported by multiple outlets that a body has been found. Again, waiting to hear for some official, we have, yeah, it looks like it's true. I can't imagine all of these people heard from the coroner and it's not true, but again, it has not been officially announced yet. CNN is now reporting it. CNN is saying body found now too, so CNN is reporting it as well. Fox News just posted this. Coroner tells Fox News digital body found where Gabby Petito search is underway. I think I'm going to change the head. Well, I'm thinking of changing the headline to just body found because so many outlets have talked to the coroner now. So I'm comfortable changing the headline to body found. I'm going to change it to that because so many outlets are reporting it and so many outlets are saying they talked to different, so many outlets are saying they've talked to the coroner. So I'm going to, well, I'll leave the headline there for now. But it seems like it's true. I mean, we don't have an official announcement yet, but multiple outlets have talked to the coroner who has said a body has been found in that area. Okay, look at this. Morgan Wolf says, from the chopper, from the KSL 5 TV Chopper 5, we saw a group of investigators in the Spread Creek area that all started pointing towards something. Then a large group of them walked back to the road as we saw another investigator walked over with awning they set up. Let me see if I can find, I think KSL a little while ago had posted something about like a shot, an overhead shot from the helicopter. Let me see if I can find that for you. Yes, see this? This is what I was looking at before. See, Garna Mejia had posted this 40 minutes ago, and she said possible evidence was found near the search area. KSL Chopper captured these images earlier today around noontime. So that would have been about 4 hours ago. But what you can see is, and I actually watched some of the helicopter footage, they have like this, it's like a tent thing. Not a tent, but it's like an awning, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. But it's like a tent, you know, where it's like a canvas or something roof, you know, on some poles to cover whatever they're looking at. So that KSL had helicopter footage. And Garna Mejia said those helicopter images were captured around noon, which would be about, actually about 3 hours ago local time. So, yeah, KSL, I think on their Facebook they have some more helicopter footage from the scene. And then, you know, you can see here Morgan Wolf is saying, we saw from the copter a group of investigators in the Spread Creek area, which is where they've been searching, that all started pointing towards something. Then a large group of investigators walked back to the road as we saw another investigator walked over with the awning they set up. Canopy, some people are saying. So anyways, you get what I'm talking about. Let's see here. So again, multiple outlets reporting. Oh, hold on a second. From KSL Chopper 5, we saw investigators with blue gloves on walk over to start taking pictures of this area about 200 yards from the road. Okay? That's from Morgan Wolf. She's describing what they saw on the chopper earlier today. Okay, so we are bringing you the latest updates here. Again, multiple outlets saying body found in the search area where Gabby Petito has been in the area where authorities have been searching for Gabby Petito. You know, CNN, Fox, numerous other outlets are reporting this, and you hear Brian Enton says the Teton County, Wyoming coroner just confirmed to me a body has been found in Teton National Park. He said they do not know the identity or the gender yet, says that it is in a very remote area. Now, we don't know who the body is yet, to be clear. We don't know who the body is. Also, FBI in just 35 minutes, the FBI will be making some sort of announcement. So we will have this for you. In 35 minutes, there will be an announcement from the FBI. So we are bringing you live breaking news coverage. If you're hearing more, give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter. The FBI says... So that's the Florida search. That's the search for the missing boyfriend. That's different than the search in Wyoming for Gabby Petito. So that just came out. We now have 15 minutes. 15 minutes until the FBI is supposed to update everyone on what's going on with the search for Gabby
Oh, they
Petito.
found the body.
This
Yeah?
comes after widespread reports that a body has been found in the search area where Gabby Petito was being searched for in Wyoming. So many different outlets are reporting it. This is the Fox News site, CNN's reporting
In
it.
Wyoming,
Lots of
in the
local
Grand
outlets
Tito
reporting it.
Valley or
Body
something?
found where Gabby Petito.
It's like a
search is underway.
hiking,
Wyoming, no
somewhere to go
confirmation
hiking,
about
I
that.
guess.
Oh, here's an update from
Who do they think
Fox
killed
that
her?
just came out. Police
Boyfriend?
arrived to the park in Wyoming where a body
Ain't nobody
was found
said
in the
that yet,
search
but
area.
everybody already know
Police
the boyfriend.
continue to arrive on the scene of Morin Vista camping area, the site of the search for Gabby Petito. Hang on one second here. Hang on one second here. We are bringing you live breaking news coverage here at Agenda Free TV. And again, I'm just trying to find you the latest updates. I don't know if we will have any other updates before the FBI official update. I'm wondering, will any reporters come out with more information? Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes, reporters will hear stuff. But I'm not seeing anything at the moment. A bunch of people are sending me a video, which I already posted about. At this point, it seems not very relevant. There was a video that came out last night or early this morning where a travel channel on YouTube said that they had a dash cam video which seemed to show Gabby Petito's van from August 27th, where the FBI has been searching. I posted that early this morning. At this point, I don't think it's very relevant just because they found a body. I mean, the big story right now is that they found a body. That's really the big thing right now. So if you want to watch the video, I posted a link to it earlier. But at this point, right now the big story is they found a body. We don't know who it is. In 11 minutes, the FBI is going to be making some sort of announcement. And I assume it's going to be related to this. It's going to be related to the search. Again, timeline, about an hour ago, news networks started reporting that a body had been found. First, also said they don't know the identity or did this and had this, made people wait an hour for this big announcement. But maybe they just don't know. I don't know what condition the body is even in. So hopefully it's not her. I mean, it's that. So I do have a shot of a photo. I will have at least this story just came out about an hour ago. This body was found, but maybe it was found several hours ago. But our viewer Sky says it's just a sound check. It looked to me like.
We thank our partners at the National Park Service. Their resources, emphasis, and also related activity discovered. Brad Petito.
1 second here. Hang on 1 second here. It's about to start. Let me get you audio of this. Can I get you the audio right now?
Good afternoon. My name is Charles Williams. I'm the Supervisory Senior Rescue Agent here in Wyoming for FBI. Standing with me here today are Acting Chief Ranger Matt Wilbur of the National Park Service, Hunter Bailey, who is Chief of the National Park Service Investigative Services Branch. We also also have Teton County Sheriff Matt Carr and Jackson Police Chief Michelle Whitler. First and foremost, on behalf of the FBI personnel and our partners, I would like to extend sincere and heartfelt condolences to Gabby's family. Joe and Tara Petito and Jim and Nicole Schmidt. As every parent can imagine, this is an incredibly difficult time for the family and friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. We ask that you all respect the privacy as they mourn the loss of their daughter. As you are aware, FBI personnel, in coordination with our partners at National Park Service, the Forest Service, Teton County Sheriff's Office, and Jackson Police Department, have been conducting investigative activity in the vicinity of the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. Earlier today, human remains were discovered, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery. The cause of death has not been determined at this time. We appreciate your continued support and patience as we work through this process. The vicinity around Spread Creek campsite will remain closed to the public until further notice. This is an active and ongoing investigation, so we ask everyone maintain distance from law enforcement personnel and equipment, vehicles, and related activity for their own safety, as well as to protect the integrity of our work and respect privacy for Gabby's family. We appreciate the tremendous support from the public. The support from the public's response to requests of tips has been remarkable. We continue to seek information from anyone who utilized the Spread Creek dispersed camping area between the dates of August 27th and August 30th. Anyone that may have had contact with Gabby or her boyfriend, or who may have seen their vehicle in that area. Please share any new information with the FBI at tips.fbi.gov or 1-800-CALL-FBI. And finally, the Denver Field Office Direct is 303-629-7171. Photos and videos can also be uploaded at fbi.gov/Petito. We thank our partners at the National Park Service, U.S. Forest Service, Teton County Sheriff's Office, and Jackson Police Department for their collaboration and diligence in this investigation. They searched their resources in a very short amount of time, and their personnel have intimate knowledge of the rugged terrain that we're dealing with, which made this process much more difficult. We greatly appreciate the invaluable skill and expertise of the Teton County Search and Rescue Team. We also thank the community of Jackson and the surrounding areas for the hospitality and for accommodating a rapid influx of law enforcement personnel in the area. In order to protect our investigative process and increase probability of successful prosecution should it be necessary, we have no additional comments. We appreciate your cooperation and respect for Gabby's family, loved ones, during this difficult time. Thank you.
You see that bone? Word. Tag me in them shits on Instagram, bro. Let me see them shit.
Okay, what I'd like to do this is not good news. Okay. It's terrible news. The FBI says they have found a body consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Okay? Sorry, hang on a second.
That's all I wanted to listen to long enough to see.
The FBI says they have found a body consistent.
Oh, you got Mandisha on there again.
It used to make sense, but now makes sense. And you said the concept of God. And so your explanation of what God is something out there, something every scripture and every book is trying to explain.
Mandisa.
I already understand.
I like Mandisa.
God at that conceptual level.
That's for saying her name wrong.
Religions
just pull right on it, poke myself right on that bitch.
I don't understand why that would make sense.
Pay attention.
Gods are
so sorry.
Ben's attempts at explaining the unknown.
Let me kiss you.
What is it that made sense to the standpoint? Okay, go ahead.
No, right there. Yeah, I really did poke it.
No, it's not that I was sort of like looking what the unknown is. I was basically the unknown is the unknown, right? Until it becomes known. So that's what. It's when the unknown became known. That's when I understood it.
The unknown became known.
I'm asking you, Hamid, for an example. So if I tell you I didn't used to understand calculus, but now I understand it, and here's what I understand it to be, can you do that?
No, I can't do that part.
Matt, I think what it is you are trying to ask me to prove you God.
No, sir. Please listen to what I'm actually asking you and stop making assumptions about what you think I'm doing. All I'm saying is, you said that this stuff in the Bible didn't used to make sense, and now it makes sense. And I'm saying, if it makes sense, you should be able to explain to me you now understand to be the case, and what you didn't understand to be the case before. That's it. I'm not asking you to prove God. I don't think you can. I'm not asking you to present evidence. That's the next step. I'm trying to get you to describe. Because
what changed?
Let me back up for half a second.
Didn't believe it, and now you do. Okay, what changed in your thinking?
You went from not believing something to believing something. I'm going to ask you in a little bit what actual evidence you have for that belief, or the proposition that belief is true. That is a completely secondary discussion. All I'm interested in right now is, you said stuff in the Bible didn't make sense, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it starts making sense. And I want an example.
We all
of
at
that.
different stages.
Why is that so difficult? Please stop reading into it and either give me an example or say you can't.
No, I can't, because
okay.
I can't see an example.
Then I don't know how to have a conversation with you, because if I tell you used to be things that didn't make sense to me, and now they make sense, and you said, like what?
Okay, so
landscapes are good, bro.
I
gotta do more landscapes myself.
You understand what I'm saying?
I know that's what you think.
I completely understand what you're saying.
I'm asking you, okay, Hamid, let me make this as simple as possible. Are there things in the Bible that you did not used to understand, but you understand now?
God itself.
Like,
why?
Damn, I hit that ball hard and shit. But that's why I'm doing this still life painting now. Just to do something different from what I normally do. And I might do some landscapes or scenic views. People like that shit too. And a lot of people always ask me, why don't you paint trees and oceans and dogs and other shit? But if I can find a different way to do it, like, my still life is not like the average still life, so. Flip jelly, just to propel it.
I mean, I don't know what to do. I can't get you to answer the question and listen to me. Don't interrupt. Clarity. I know this is a
membrane, cytoplasm, DNA, and ribosome.
Hey, there are sentences in the Bible that did not used to make sense to you, but do make sense to you now, yes or no?
A little bit more detail about to get to that.
Why you won't answer the question that you literally just asked 30 seconds ago, when all I'm doing is getting clarity. And literally, if I rewound this, the words that came out of your mouth was that
everybody take a little bit from Bob Ross, at least to get us started.
Mostly the Bible, and there were sentences.
You know what I'm saying? Anybody can get started like Bob Ross.
So I'm asking you, are there sentences in the Bible that did not previously make sense to you that make sense now, yes or no?
I think in the
Yeah. It definitely takes a while to paint a face. But when you start painting faces, just don't try to make the face look like exactly like the person. Just paint Just kind of paint a face.
First of all, in order to paint a face, you have to know how to draw proportion.
Yeah.
And that's a good lesson for first time drawers, painters, whatever. Because when I took my art classes, I didn't do bad when I had to do like my charcoal stuff and like drawing spheres and like doing shadows and highlights. But when we had to do a portrait of ourselves, my right eye was like twice the size of my left eye.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard when you don't when you're not naturally artistically inclined. How do you get everything to shape? Like, would you
gotta make a grid.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. My teacher told me to make a grid.
If you got a grid, you can't draw. Just draw it on the line.
I do not think you're a Christian. And whether you're a Christian or Muslim is irrelevant. You called in to say that there were sentences in the Bible that did not previously make sense to you, which makes sense to you now. I do not care what your religion is. I do not care if you believe in a God. I do not care if you like green eggs and fucking ham.
Damn, bro.
Things in the Bible that didn't make sense to you, but do now. And you're saying that the sentence "God is everywhere" is one of those. Right?
You're correct.
Don't run when nobody's chasing you. My best to set you up to be able to give the clearest example of this that you can possibly give. And you're looking for tracks or trick questions. You're looking for assumptions and all kinds of stuff. I have been incredibly straightforward. Now,
hey, how you doing, little princess?
I would agree that the concept that God is everywhere, or God is omnipresent, is in the Bible. And so you're saying that some.
You like doing any art with your dad? Got to tell him to get you a sketch pad and some coloring pencils.
Because my memory is not helping me, so that's why. I'm saying, okay, if that's the thing, that's the same concept as exists in Islam, because from Christianity, I was reading the Bible, I moved on to Quran, right? Because
Alright, I was taking just a little break from painting just now because I had some Rice Krispie treats, but I ate all of it now. So, we've been here for almost an hour. I wanted to do like maybe 2 hours in the studio, something like that. Really just trying to get the letters on this last movie. It's the DVD case that's at the bottom. Still got a little bit more lettering to do on there. And then once that dries, I can come back and do some outlines and like some more fine detail work to it. But so yeah, I want to finish putting some letters on that DVD case and then work on the cup a little bit, and then I might wrap it up for this evening. And I'll be at a good enough point where I can probably finish this painting this week. More than likely I can finish it in the next few days and start on the next one. I have one painting that needs an underpainting, and then I really need to start taking more pictures and getting some more stuff on canvas now, because I'm at that point where I'm going to be running out of projects again. Yeah, a scanner darkly. The lettering is coming out pretty nice, if I say so myself. The lettering's looking pretty sweet. You know? Patience. Just be patient with yourself and take your time. And then it'll work out. It'll look alright.
And this was asking you, what was it about the Quran that made sense? So, within the Bible or the Quran, the concept of God is everywhere somehow began to make sense to you. But whether or not something makes sense to you is completely independent from whether or not it's true, correct?
Here's my argument to that. If my senses are like logic, right? Logic only works if
you don't have senses for logic, which is why you're refusing to answer basic questions that expose that. You are overestimating your propensity to use logical reasoning. Because all I asked was, the fact that something makes sense to you is independent from whether or not it's true, correct?
I don't think you understand.
Hamid, I think you're about to be publicly embarrassed repeatedly by suggesting that I don't know what logic is when I'm asking you a very straightforward question that anybody who knows and understands anything about logic would be able to answer instantly. Because whether or not a concept makes sense to me is independent from whether or not the concept points to something that is true. I can have a concept of a unicorn that makes sense to me, but that does not mean that the unicorn exists. I can have multiple God concepts in my head that make sense to me, but that doesn't mean that any of them exist. My conception of something is independent from its actuality. This is an undeniable, basic, simple thing.
Yeah, I was going to explain that, but I think I got interrupted about what sense is, what the logic is, and how when you sense something through correct information, eventually it has to make logical sense. Otherwise, it will not. It will be illogical to your senses.
I'm sorry, Hamid, but you don't seem to understand what logic is. Your senses aren't particularly relevant to this. Your senses may not be pointing you to truth, and logic may not be pointing you to truth. Reasoning is about whether or not a particular thought, a particular argument is consistent with reasoning. Identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle, the structure of that, that's logic. If there is no guarantee that because something you think you sense something, that therefore it must exist. That is a logical fallacy.
Okay, then I think that's where our conversation ends then.
Exactly, bro. Just
Did you have any evidence for Islam?
no.
I was basically going to argue about it like this, the way we are doing right now, but I think if you're going to do this, then it's going to take a bit more time. I don't know if you still want to go on about it, but...
I don't know, it's up to Mandy's.
No, the short answer seems to be no. So, I mean, if we have other callers that can actually demonstrate good evidence that their God exists, then let's go for it.
Yeah, because these are simple, straightforward questions I'm asking. Like, does the fact that you have a concept of something mean that it's true? And the answer is no. Anybody who even hesitates to give a no answer there is probably engaged in a little bit of woo thinking or bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept it, bro. Just
Okay, all right.
yeah, bye.
Thanks. I don't know.
I understand
It's
this concept
amazing
though. Okay, we
what
can understand the concept of a fucking unicorn. That don't mean a fucking unicorn is real, bro.
About what they consider logical, what they consider to be logical.
Yeah. This will be an interesting question because while it's addressed to me, I'm interested in hearing kind of what both of us think about it, although I can't imagine we're too far apart. But Paul, who's a pantheist, wants to know, has questions about
I believe in all
spirit
gods.
and rationality. So welcome, Paul.
Hey, Matt Mandisa. It's great to talk with you.
Paul?
Paul? Is that you, Paul?
So,
Paula?
dealing with religion and spiritualism.
And you're dealing with
anthropological level,
sexual identity crisis?
There's a kind of a polarity between the practices of focused meditation and then trance mediumship. And I see the trance mediumship element or mystic practice come up again and again. I'm wondering if you feel like people can engage in psychologically warping, well, I say warping, that's a negative connotation, psychologically, psychoactive practices, like spirit mediumship, without having to buy into woo or being irresponsibly irrational.
What?
Saying how crazy are spirit mediums?
Well, no, I've known quite a few spirit mediums, and I've seen a range of approaches to it, but I'm not sure.
Okay, Let me make this really easy, Paul. Let me make this really easy, Paul. I see no good evidence that anything like a spirit or soul exists or could exist. I see no good evidence that anyone who's engaging in mediumship is in any way actually communicating with any non-corporeal mind at all. And that makes it irresponsible. It puts it in the category of pseudoscience. How irresponsible it is and how dangerous it is depends on what they're doing with it. But there's no good reason to think that it's true. Plenty of good reason to think that it's not true. Don't know what else you would want me to say. As far as I can tell, it's bullshit.
Definition of true, which I hold to as well, and I agree in that hard.
Wow, you were talking through the whole end of that, weren't you? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I wasn't at all. I was trying to be very careful not to interrupt you, sir, because I don't want to. Doing your job must be very frustrating, you know. So I just, you know, also being excited, I didn't want to nip at your back your heels, but I still did. Sorry. I mean, in a Dadaist kind of creative subconscious approach to the Jungian collective unconscious, but no external to a mind, external to a physical mode of transmission of culture. Nothing beyond that kind of Dadaist reaching.
I don't know why you called in to ask about whether or not I think something is rational or dangerously irrational, and then go on to praise it as a Dadaist thing, which is deliberately irrational. It is embracing the irrational.
Yeah, but confinedly so. Not in a way that's not.
If you want to go pretend that you're talking to dead people, go for it. But if you want to try to convince somebody else that you're doing it, please fucking stop, because you're not.
Right, and similar to the way the Judeo-Christians, the Judeo-Christian religions work, there doesn't seem to be any really good evidence for it. So yes, it would be irresponsible for people to claim that they can either communicate with the dead or bring someone back from the dead simply based on, whatever you think you're practicing. And do I think that is there a rational basis for it? No, there isn't.
Yeah, if you're giving someone life advice, if you're sitting around, I have friends who use, for example, tarot cards in their magic acts. I use tarot cards in my magic act, but I don't prop up any woo in the process. I talk about it. Matter of fact, I give kind of a disclaimer at the beginning of it, but I don't require that every magic performer put a disclaimer before it. If you want to have a spooky seance, I have friends who do spooky seance shows, but they're not pretending that anything there is real. Now, if on the other hand you are giving people life advice or taking people's money, the promise that you're going to talk to their dead loved ones and other things else, then you are, as far as we can tell, a disgusting ghoul that is preying on people. And until you can demonstrate that what you claim to be doing, you can actually do, you should be practicing this on pain of going to fucking jail from the Bunko Squad.
I don't mean to be splitting hairs. I don't think this is necessarily going to change the prognosis, so to speak. It's a metaphor. But excluding any notion that they're claiming that a given group of mediums is claiming to talk to dead people, but more magical spirits like Merlin.
I have no evidence of anything magical or spirit. You can use whatever fucking bullshit woo term you want, but as long as you're talking about things that aren't demonstrated, my opinion is the same.
Do you think that the people that are going to those Merlin channelers, do you think that they believe in a way that could make this predatory, or do you think that they're looking to engage in fantasy?
Some do, some don't. But if you want to engage in, I can go to medieval times and engage in fantasy. I can go to the Ren Fair and engage in fantasy. I don't need to prop up notions about spirits, souls, dead people, which many people do believe in, which are the cornerstone and hallmarks of many religions, the notion of a soul and an afterlife and whether or not you can reach that. I don't need to give clearance and protection to dangerous, harmful ideas that are propping up religion and dividing us just in the name of fun. I don't find that fun at all.
Yeah, I'm trying my hardest, bro.
With that extent, I want to get. I want to get Melissa's continued take on this, but one last follow-up question.
Yeah, I'm trying my hardest. Yo, my dog just started going crazy just now. She normally barks like that, like when somebody's at the door. But
Yeah. And I think it is
nobody was
totally
at the door
possible
just now.
for people to be indulging in fantasy and being predatory at the same time. Which, as Matt said, if people are doing that, then they are being not just irresponsible, but also very dangerous, and it could be considered criminal.
One of the problems is that you get people who are love to view themselves as intelligent. Oh, I'm engaged in this in a Dadaist sense. I obviously don't think it's real, but there are people who do. Inevitably,
I know, but that was my take of it. That wasn't theirs. That was me trying to.
Never mind. I'm done. Not finishing sentence.
You saw Cedric's comment?
Anyway, thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Hope you got the answer you were looking for.
All right, our dinner is almost done, so we'll be out of here in like another 30 minutes.
I don't get it. People are like, oh, what do you think about this? Okay, I'll tell you. Yeah, but what about that? Oh, okay, I'll tell you. But it's really simple. I'm not a stick in the mud. I have lots of fun. I do lots of stuff. I do magic shows. I do fake spiritualist mind reading things. The difference is that I start off by saying, I don't have any psychic or paranormal abilities.
Entertainment as well. Yeah. We can be entertained by these things. I mean, they can be fun to do, but to take them seriously, and to try to convince people that they should take it seriously, we absolutely have the right to question one's sense of logic and reasoning and where they're coming from.
And I have no problem with cosplay and LARPing, live action role playing. The difference is when some people are LARPing but aren't aware that they are, or denying that they are.
Right.
Unless you're being filmed and you're trying to, make an interesting movie for somebody, is a problem. Got a couple calls left, and 10 minutes left in the show, and most of these people have been waiting patiently for ages, including, Luke in Minnesota. Thanks so much for waiting.
Thanks for having me on the show. I've been listening to you guys for months now.
I've been doing it for several months.
You basically... Yeah, I know. So I am an atheist, and I stopped being a theist about 3 years ago. And I basically wanted to ask I've listened to the show for a long time, and I wanted to ask this question because I haven't heard it explained so far, which is, or at least to my satisfaction, which is, why is skepticism, the way you guys presented on your show, sort of the best path to truth? I've heard you talk about if you have people living truth claims, how do you know what methodology to use to find one is better than the other? And my question is, why should that apply equally to God? I've heard it referred to as maybe special pleading, that God shouldn't have a separate category of thought about him, and we should apply the same methodology to him or her or it. And so, yeah, the reason I am concerned about this question is because when I stopped being a theist, it was not for directly rational reasons. It was because, I came out as gay to my family. I had an interpersonal crisis, and I basically adopted atheism out of choice and necessity. And, part of my insecurity is I want to use post-hoc rationalization to set up my God belief or not accepting of a God belief. So that's my question to you.
Well, first of all, do you understand that burden of proof is on the people who are claiming that there is a God and they haven't met it?
I guess my question, I do understand the burden of proof is for anything you make a positive claim, right? So if you don't accept it, that's not the same as you don't have to prove something.
So the default position is to begin, for any claim that X exists, the existence needs to be demonstrated. Because if you just believe it, then what you end up with is conflicting beliefs. And so you would put yourself in a position where you would have to believe that multiple different gods exist, or multiple different things exist that you don't have any evidence for. This is why we wait for this. But when you asked about skepticism, skepticism is an ideology. It's not a tool set. Skepticism is an ideology that says we're going to use the demonstrably best tools available to understand reality. So when you say, why is skepticism the best path? Because it is. Because you might as well just say, we're going to use the best path, and we're going to call that skepticism. And all it means is, anytime we're evaluating something, we are going to use the methodology that has demonstrated it is most reliable, and so that you can believe as many true things and as few false things as possible, so that you don't get duped and conned.
Yes. Okay. I mean, that makes sense to me, and I have no objection to it. I think part of my question is also, what is the harm, I guess, or let's say I come from the assumption that I can't demonstrate a God. I don't believe there's a way to demonstrate a God. I've come to that conclusion already. But let's say I just want to believe something I have no evidence for just because I want to. Is that harmful?
Yes.
It also, to me, if I may, Luke, because you said you came to your identity as an atheist from a traumatic experience or traumatic journey, there certainly does, I think you might need to further reflect on seeking additional support for that. Because being an atheist doesn't mean that you're just that you're just saying everything skepticism or using all of these big scientific or these big words all the time. I think that's a huge misconception that many believers have. So you may want to you may want to consider and do more of a deep dive into, your journey and the fact that you should just be able to explain that, you don't believe any gods exist because there is lack of evidence and that there is no demonstrable proof of any gods.
I want to give you a slight, I wanted to make sure Medusa got to talk because it's important, and I'm not going to get it all right, but to give you a more robust answer than just yes. First of all, I genuinely have difficulty understanding anyone could say, is it really harmful for me to believe what I want, irrespective of whether or not I have good reason? That, to me, is one of the most full, asinine questions I've ever heard. I've heard it from many people, so you're not alone, and I'm sure that all of us at some point have felt like that. But the truth is, I don't even think you can. Like, there's a difference between saying, I am convinced this is true, which is what that believes, and I'm going to act like I'm convinced this is true. And so what your question is, hey, why can't I just believe what I want? Well, because you can't. Belief isn't a choice. You don't get to choose what you believe. You're either convinced or you're not. And what you're really doing is saying, I'm going to act as if I'm convinced so that maybe I might fool myself, or perhaps if there is a God, fool that God. But you're not really. You're not really convinced. If you think that belief, it's like, oh, I'm just going to believe that I've got $1 billion. I'm going to believe that I'm the most handsome person on the planet. I am, but I'm going to believe. See how that works? Nobody should do that. And the thing is, even if you found something, like, I'm going to choose to believe that this, I'm going to choose to believe that this pair of glasses is lucky. That comes with consequences. So what a lot of people do is say, okay, well, let me choose to believe something that doesn't come with any consequences. Like, I'm going to choose to name some. I don't know what doesn't come with consequences, because even if you isolate it down to where I believe this set of glasses is magical, but only right now for the next second, and then after that they're not magical anymore, which means that nothing about my belief is lasting. Still have the belief, which means that you now have a heuristic model in your head, a mechanism by which you evaluate things, that you can say, today, for this instant, I'm not going to rely on evidence. I'm just going to go with what my gut feels or what I prefer. And as long as that model exists in your head, that means that you can not only use it for classes for 1 second, but you can use it for other things as well. So care about whether or not your beliefs are true, or you don't. And if you do, then you can't be asking about, well, why can't I just believe what I want? Because first of all, beliefs aren't a choice, and second of all, because you care about what's true, and you know more. You understand this stuff better than that. You couldn't possibly say, well, this time I'm just going to believe it. No. You're lying to yourself, which we all do. This is what we mean by the difference between believing something and believing in belief. Huge benefits to acting as if you believe, of going to church, of hanging around with people, of, hey, when somebody says, oh, I think that, isn't it a beautiful world that God's made? And you're like, yes, it is, because now you're talking about positive stuff, and you just get to talk about that. And what could possibly be the harm? I'll tell you what the harm is. The harm is you're propping up the exact same beliefs that want to punish you for the fact that you're gay. It doesn't discriminate. People do. People get to cherry pick whatever they want out of whatever holy book they want. They can say, oh, this is in the Bible, I'm going to believe it. Oh, but this is in the Bible, and I'm not. Well, on what grounds do you decide to believe that God made the earth in 6 days out of magic, but that God didn't tell people that if a man lies with another man as he lies with a woman, they've committed an abomination or deserving of death? How do you cherry pick that? Except that there is a God that could have said it.
Right, and I would say I take a slightly different take. I have a slightly different take on whether beliefs are a choice or not. I mean, I do think that if you continue to believe in something after you have come to an informed decision or an informed conclusion, it's not a good choice. Certainly, it's not, but certainly. If you are of sound and of mind, then again, you may not necessarily be. But it's really that is very irresponsible, and I would say in your case to I would say to absolutely reevaluate why you came to that conclusion and whether it was the rational one for yourself.
Yeah, Luke.
Thank you so much for those thoughts. I think you went into several different avenues that I was about to ask you about, and then you just addressed it before I even said anything. Especially the difference between acting like you believe something and actually believing it.
Yeah.
And then,
by the way, a lot of people seem to think that they could fool a God, which I find laughable. Like if there is a God, and you're like, oh, I'm not really convinced there's a God, but I'm going to act like there is, and I'm like, who do you think you're fooling?
well, I mean, there could, in the realm of possible gods that you could describe, one of them might reward a person who tries without proof.
Yeah, and one of them might reward people who aren't acting gullible, and one of them might reward people who aren't lying about what they believe, and one of them might, how do you tell which one's the right one? Why not just be intellectually honest? And then if there's a God that decides to punish you for being intellectually honest, he's a prick.
And that's I think where you and I align. I guess, is there a way to combine any of those circumstances in such a way where you could try to come up with belief in a God where you understand that you're not actually believing it, but you act like you believe it and it doesn't cause harm? For example, I choose to believe in, the Loch Ness Monster because I think it makes the world a little more magical, even though I don't think it's there. Or I choose to act like it's there, even though I know I have no reason to believe it,
Are you asking that as a hypothetical, or are you saying that you are someone who just believes there's a Loch Ness Monster, or acts like you believe in a Loch Ness Monster, even though you don't have good reason?
I mean, as a hypothetical, I don't actually believe in a God, and I don't necessarily have an interest in pretending like.
Let's just go with that hypothetical.
Like to be able to get along with my family, or the hypothetical.
Sure, I'd like to be able to get along with my family too. And you know what I did? I said this far and no further, and if you want to have a relationship with me, you knock that shit off. Turns out that they love me just enough to not do the things that were causing the problem, because I wasn't doing anything to cause a problem. I was just living my life and not believing in their God. That's not going to work in every situation, every family. So let's go with the Loch Ness Monster. He said, I now believe in the Loch Ness Monster. What's wrong with it?
Well, why do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster? What is your proof for the Loch Ness Monster?
I just want the world to be more magical, so I thought I would believe in a magical being.
Again, what is, can you absolutely demonstrate beyond a reasonable doubt that the Loch Ness Monster exists?
No, but why should that matter? I just want the world to be more magical.
Well, we don't live in a magical world.
You don't know that. How dare you take away my magic? The underlying reason for wanting to believe in the Loch Ness Monster is to want a world, that you even said it yourself, Luke, you want a world that's more magical. Well, tough shit. The world is exactly as magical as it is or isn't. And if you are desiring a world that seems more magical, that means that you are intentionally setting aside the facts of this reality.
Mm-hmm.
And while I can understand why someone who may be facing a terminal diagnosis may not feel the same way about it I do. I want to know. I know people who don't want to know. I know people who would want to be lied to, who have a cancer diagnosis. And all your life you've wanted the world to be more magical, so you kind of act like there's fairies and everything else. Are your chances greater, or is there a greater chance or a weaker chance that you're going to buy into pseudoscientific magical remedies for your cancer out of desperation? Scientific medicine.
Which can also impact the people around you, your families, if you have children. It can also cause you to make very irrational decisions and put finances into something that really and not only has it not been proven to work, but it's ultimately a waste of time, which again affects not just you, but others around you. Because we don't just exist in this world by ourselves. We don't live in a bubble, no matter how much at times we want to. That's just not the reality.
But, you know, there's reasons why we shouldn't believe them.
Yeah. Sorry, I have a barking dog in the background.
No problem.
Yeah, I think that back and forth about the Loch Ness Monster helped me kind of understand, you know, even if you tried to invent something that I think has no harm, or that just for the sake of you want to, there's always some kind of reason behind it that could lead to some slippery slope of harm at some point. So why bother?
Mm-hmm.
I think
I think that we're short-sighted and we assume that things that live in our brain, we think they're not going to have an impact. And that's just because we're not really looking that hard at what potential impact there really is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for those thoughts. I think that basically answered my question.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Luke. I appreciate it. And on that note, we have gone overtime. And I know I've got a show at 7 o'clock on the line, and so I'm not going to be able to hang out more. When do we get to do this again?
Anytime that I am not busy, or that I definitely want to do this again. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode of AXP.
I want to remind everybody again that this coming weekend
Yes.
is the Women of Color. Go ahead.
Yes.
Tell them all about it.
Yeah, Women of Color Beyond Belief Conference. It is physically taking place in Chicago, Illinois. However, right now, at this time, it is only available for online streaming. I appreciate everyone who has registered during this episode. Tell your friends, share it. We'd love to have lots more people tuning in to hear these wonderful women and hear of the wonderful activism as well as the important subjects that will be discussed during the conference.
Absolutely. We appreciate everybody who's tuned in and watched today. I apologize that I kind of got to run, which means I won't get to hang out in Discord. Genuinely, take a look at the way calls went down. Even when there was a caller that tried to have an honest discussion as a theist, or tried to appear that they had an honest discussion as a theist. That went better than most people would expect. And while we had Hamid with difficulties understanding limits of logic and whether or not there is evidence for this, or whether or not you, just because you have a conception of something, or you think you understand something, that it somehow ties to the truth, or it must eventually make truth, or it must be logical with your senses. There's a lot of confusion there, and it may be language related. So the best thing to do in many of those occasions is to stick a pin in the conversation and say, go off and think about it. I'll go off and think about it. Come back. And so for the people who called today, Hamid and others, apart from the prank callers, call us back. Let us know if you had more thoughts on it. Maybe you refined the way you thought of it. Maybe you called in and you were nervous and didn't necessarily let you get your words out right. Or maybe when you say, Matt, you're just not understanding, maybe you're right. Maybe I wasn't understanding, although there were two of us here who weren't understanding either. But if we can find a new way to explain it, where then we can understand it, then we can actually have a conversation. That's what I want. That's what this show is about. This is not, despite what some people view it as, this is not the let's let silly theists call in and smack them around, rah, rah, rah. That happens, but that's God's fault for not existing. We'll see you next week. Take care of yourself. Be healthy.
What will it take for you to start opening your eyes? Start questioning the bullshit everyone around you buys. You think it's setting up your spirit, those arms with paradise.
I wonder. Come on, let's go, bro. Alright guys, we're gonna wrap it up for this evening.
It's time to get sexy, so watch Secular Sexuality Live Thursdays at 7 p.m.
Secular
Central. Visit
Sexuality.
tiny.cc/YTSS and call into the show at 512-991-9242 or connect to the show online at tiny.cc/callsex.
Call SEX. My dog is acting really weird right now. Cup of ice looking frosty though. I'm saying, cup of ice looking like damn. Post
Mommy
on
said I had that up here 30 years ago. Suck points.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? You had it. I still got my copy. Shit. Still got my copy of it, Kier. I had mine about that same time. I probably got my copy of Kier when I was like 14 or 15. I had my shit like 20-something years. Classic movie, man. Classic movie. And that's why I had to put it in the artwork. I had to put it in the artwork. Ghost in the Shell, that's the Kara. Scan Darkly coming out nicely. I gotta just go over these a little bit more. Tighten up some of the letters a little bit. I'm almost done, yo. Go back over this Jose Cuervo, those letters a little bit more. A little bit more letter. I'm this is about to be a wrap, so I'll be able to show this to the world in a couple days. And let everybody else enjoy it. Motherfuckers gonna be like, what the fuck? It's probably gonna get no recognition on social media, but it's all good though. Cause I enjoy painting. I enjoy painting this motherfucker. Yeah. I've been having a blast painting this shit. Yeah. I think I gotta make that R on the Cura a little fatter somehow.
Yeah.
Alright, I always appreciate y'all chilling in the studio with me where I work on these masterpieces, these classic museum quality art pieces. We can go play me some video games and finish drinking my bottle of Moet. My birthday bottle. Had this shit since June. Move, calm down. We going downstairs in a second. Get y'all next time.